be counted on that issue.
Thank you. Do you know that there's just so many issues? It's a human issue. Sometimes, you know, it's so hard as a human being that it's so painful sometimes to care about all these issues because you go into overwhelm because you don't know which issue or which thing to focus on. I don't know whether the panel...
Absolutely. Use the compass of your heart. Do what you love in this way. Use the compass of the heart, use the listening thing. As I think we mentioned yesterday, when thousands of refugees came to Amma and said, "Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Amma, for your compassion after the tsunami." And she said, my compassion, wait. Mother's compassion needs to arise in every human being on the planet right now. This is not a gender issue. It's mother's compassion. Your kids come home, you don't say, "Excuse me, you're not worthy for afternoon tea if you've got a neighbour." It's like if you simply recognise we have all the tools inside, we have a human heart full of compassion. It's just time to let that guide the show.
Thank you. Tony, did you have something to add on there? I've got a lady here. She's not...
Ladies first.
I'm actually standing on a giant thing.
That's
here.
not sexist, was it?
No, it's not.
I have a question for Uncle Harry. He must have seen an awful lot of dreadful things happen to this country, and probably his ancestors did also. I know that in Mullumbimby we're all pretty earth conscious, but the rest of Australia really isn't. And I wonder when our native custodians are going to start letting on to us ignorant white people a bit of knowledge about what's really going on in this country and start teaching us that are willing to hear the things that we need to know to help them. Thank you.
Did you get that? Oh, sorry, it's a bit...
I really does not want to, like I said, because I've been and I've seen, I still see parts of it today, of how the treatment is with my people. But what I want to say is, I said a bit before, that if you and I can start listening to each other, then we will learn from there. But this is my plea, I'd say anyway, to Sister Gillard or Brother Bad Abbott, is please, just listen to what I got to say. Will you give me a chance? But we don't get that chance. But what I want to say to you and me today, let us make a start of listening to what we both got to say. Then we'll work it from there.
Thanks, Uncle Harry.
Thanks,
This is the DVD, Poppy, Harry, Mundine Walker, Uncle Harry here. It's if you want to listen, if you want to learn about the country you're living in. He said, "I've made this video to keep alive my people's language, culture and traditions, to care for my country and ensure our children learn and respect the ways of our ancestors." He's gone to a lot of care to bring this out. It's now being launched, it's available, we're selling it at the Green Jeans. 3 videos, 3 DVDs to learn. If you want to support the traditional voice in your own life as well as in the country here, get the video. It's excellent.
Thank you. Can I also open up with, because it was before, I think one of the big questions is to me, because a lot of times spirituality seems so out here. Sorry, sweetheart, but a kid. How do you integrate it into it's your daily practice? What do you do in your life? And I'm not talking about beyond you. Surely spiritual practice, the biggest part of that should be your service to your community. What do you do to connect and to make relationship with people in your community? And I would ask even for this today, we are all guilty And I come to this park all the time because I live here, and I would ask one question. We're all here today, but where are the homeless people that usually live in the rotunda? Where have they gone? I hope they were given a sort of ticket somewhere really nice for the weekend, because I'm going, where are the fellas gone? And I think it's a good... Are you here?
Yeah, they're all here.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, they're here.
I said, I hope you, if you're not here, I hope you've been given a ticket to Bali or something. I thought maybe. Well, that's good to know.
They're here.
There's one fella up there. But I mean, how do we integrate in our life, in our reality? What do we do? It's one thing to do yoga and have a poster of a lotus flower on your wall, but what do you do every day for your community and for your fellow human beings?
Soup kitchens. I do soup kitchens.
Yeah, if I could... So going on what William was saying, you know, the basis, the ground is knowing where your food is, where your what is, who your friends are, which is basically understanding where the food comes from. It doesn't come from the supermarket, you know. It's a relationship between our plant brothers and sisters and the sun, and the way in which plants can trap sunlight and turn it into complex sugars that become our food, our medicine, our shelter, our fuel to keep us warm. And so this is very important for us to develop a relationship with our food and a relationship with our water. The water doesn't come from the tap. We just think it does. And so we need to understand the water cycle, the food cycle, and of course our friends, which is really the community. And so the most important thing from the way I see it is learn to grow your own food, or at least know how to do it. Even though you don't do it, understand what's going on, understand the process. And it's through that process that we get taught by the earth about everything. And so being a gardener can be a way that people start to have a different relationship to their food. And that's just the base level. And
Yeah, I want to say for me, I haven't worked for anyone else for about 30 years. And the work that I do believe is in community, is in service. Around the world when I travelled, and now in my community, I couldn't be busier in what I have to offer as gifts that I feel are mine to give. So I think that the most important thing is to listen to what your intuition is telling you to do, and then get out there and get on with it, you know, and not just sit at home twiddling your thumbs. There's so much that could be happening and that you can give, just to give. And I do. Thank you.
Something Mandy said about what can we do in our spiritual practice on a daily basis. Well, that was brought home to me quite graphically years ago. I belong to a fellowship of men and women that's right across the board, and we spend our spare time helping others with the same problems we've got. And I was whinging about some bloke to another old fella there, and he listened for a while and he said, "Listen, son, this outfit's full of sick people. All you've got to do is remember you're one of them. You take your own inventory, you'll be flat out. You won't have time to take anyone else's." And that came home to me, that spiritual practice is not gossiping, not bagging anyone, not taking anyone else's inventory, because I believe we're at a time now when we have to clean up our own act, because time is running out to be active. It's not enough to be cultured and sophisticated. There was a quality of life here before we came and imposed a lifestyle on it. And we didn't even look at what was on offer. We brought architecture from England and constructed it in this land. And look at what we're doing to our water. And those buffhead politicians that have been mentioned earlier. I mean, the coal seam gas is one thing, but I've been 20 years an anti-uranium activist. And now that buffhead Martin Ferguson, his father would roll in his grave if he saw what his son's doing. He's opened it up for a proliferation of uranium mines around this country. They're selling it to places like India, where there is no agreement on the nuclear proliferation. There's so much stuff going on out there. I think we're entitled to take the inventory of politicians, but not of our neighbours.
So, Tony, would you say, as spiritual people,